and we are getting started with day 5.7 of the 90-day guide for success. Looking forward to having many of you on with us today. And I'm just going to see if I can gravitate over to my clubhouse room, bring Tiff in the room as well. So we've got a few of you coming in. We've got Cheryl. We've got, oh, good. We've got a couple of new folks as well. Really looking forward to that. And I will let everyone in. Hey, and good morning. Welcome. Good to have you here. Thank you for taking time out of your day today. I hope that you are doing well on this. A little bit of background noise. I'll invite you to mute. I'm going to just mute you there. All right. And want to say hello, hello. I'm just going to bring Tiff in, who is in Clubhouse for some reason. Of course, because it's today. My apps are not working. So let me see. Tiff is in Clubhouse without me. I cannot get to Clubhouse. Let me restart my phone. So with that, today, team effectiveness. And team effectiveness is the name of the game. What is important for each one of you here live around team effectiveness right now? Is this an area you're doing work in? I'd love to just get you to unmute and maybe share verbally, like, where do teams fit in? And let me bring Tiff in. Here we go. So I'm going to join the room in progress. And for those that aren't aware, we're on Clubhouse as well. Hey, good morning, Tiff. Can you hear me? All right. Good morning. We are here in the room. I'm here in the room. I was having some app issues, but we've got Cheryl, we've got Marty, we've got Michelle, and we've got Oana. So thank you for joining us today live. So many people are watching this after the fact, and I'm trying to release these just around lunchtime so that people who in different time zones can be taking advantage of it. So again, to level set, we are moving along. This is officially day 5 of live calls, and today's focus is team effectiveness, but it's actually day 7 in the 90-day guide for success. So I want to invite you, pick up a copy of the book. It's been exciting to see photos of people with it. I want to start today's conversation with a quick quote from Patrick Lencioni, which says, teams are an important part of the remote world for all types of professionals. So that is a quick quote. And I think, you know, certainly what we're seeing is that teams are at the heart of a lot of different things. So today's calendar, if you haven't been putting your gold stars out, put your gold stars out, because it is day number 7. And it's been really amazing. We've had Cheryl here every day. We've had Marty here every day. Want to welcome Michelle Mullins, my co-conspirator in the Remote Pathways Adventure. We've got you today. We've got Oana Tue. And I know, Oana, you've been with me on another call. I think that, there we go. Hi, welcome to you as well. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
If you want to share where you're calling in from today, you don't have to give us your exact geography, but what time zone are you in?
I'm from Romania, Europe. So yeah, it's what time? It's my time, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. I love that. So we've got the range from 2 o'clock here on the East Coast of North America, Canada, and the US. It is now 7:30. We've also got Michelle Bastock in Mountain, 5:30 in the morning. So a big shout out. And we've got Nina coming in from, I believe, Texas. And I think Nina is at 6:30. So thank you for making time. You know, in the next 90 days, come and join us, be live. Just a reminder that this week 1 theme of the whole 7 days has been about trust. And in earlier calls this week, I talked about that triad of trust, how we need to have both the trust, safety, and connection. And if we're missing one of them, it just really imbalances things. So there are a lot of things we can be doing to build trust. There are also a lot of things we can be doing to destroy trust. In the 90-day guide, I don't go into as much detail, but many of you will be familiar with chapter 6 of Reconnecting Workspaces, the first book out in the series. And we take a deep dive into what are the behaviors in the virtual, remote, and hybrid space that builds that trust, safety, and connection. So I just want to put that on, because every week we'll have these overarching themes. And certainly as we think about what is at the heart of high performance and success, it is, as we said yesterday, not only about results, but so much of it is about relationships. Really hard to build that relationship if we are not clear, if we're not noticing how we are connected as well. So one of the interesting things is, as this process is unfolding and getting built as we go, every day of the weekday is starting to have a different theme. So Monday, we started out here at this breakfast call with a focus on productivity and getting you set up for success for the week. On Tuesday, it was a bit of thinking time about you and your brand. Yesterday, we did networking. We did some speed networking rounds. And today, we're going to have a bit of a focus on team. I want you to think about you, your team. Maybe you're collaborating with others, or maybe you are leading a team. And with that in mind, we're going to do some more relational focus work. Tomorrow, I want to invite you, because it's Friday, as Tiff and I were talking, we want to make sure that everyone finishes the week strong, right? My big thing is like that daily steps plus consistent action creates momentum. And inevitably by Friday, we usually have a few more things on our list of things to do. So Friday morning is going to be sort of our virtual co-working sprint time, where I'll be holding the space Friday mornings for you to bring a project to get something off your list before you step into the weekend. I think we can all appreciate that. Just give me a thumbs up if that's going to support you in stepping into a weekend where it's one less thing on your list. So I hear some laughter. I hope that that's going to be a good thing, because really we want to make sure that we are just continuing to move. So yesterday it was who had your back. Today is all about team effectiveness. And I'd like you to think about either your business or the people that you're supporting, the organization that you're part of. We know that teams thrive when they have certain elements and ingredients in play. And in a remote space, we're not always clear about these because we're not together. So intentionally level setting and coming back together to talk about these 6 areas can really help people move the needle. So number one, how are you working with or clarifying your shared vision? Have you revisited your vision? Even as a solopreneur, have you revisited your vision for where you want to take your work, where you want to take your business? If you're on a team, how are you doing with your shared goals? And your shared goals might really be like a cascading effect of that domino. So are you revisiting what those goals are and how you're measuring those goals? As well as, are you coming together for regular events? What I'm loving about this is we are starting to see a bit of a snowball, right? Both on Clubhouse and also here, different people joining us throughout the sprint. And we know that regularity is so important in the hybrid and remote space. So what team practices are you enacting? Whether it's meetings, whether it's the informal social club, which is what we did yesterday, right? And we'll do a little bit of that today as well. A fifth area that's key to think about in terms of team effectiveness is role clarity. And as many of you know, I have been working on something this summer. It's going to be released pretty soon, but it's the hybrid work style quiz, because where a lot of conflict can emerge is when we have different styles, and role clarity becomes so key for success. So think about your clarity around roles, as well as what are you committed to doing no matter what. So that's the landscape of teams that I really wanted to just jettison us into today. Day 7 gets us into the focus around team effectiveness. One little factoid I share, and you might have heard me share this before, but if we go back to pre-pandemic days, only 22% of remote teams were having any sort of support. So there really is a huge opportunity for support of all different kinds, whether it's elongated, team coaching work with teams over months, weeks, and even years, or whether it's something more focused. So really be thinking about how you can be supporting teams. In today's book, there is space for you to review your business or review with your teams that you support how these different factors are playing out and how they are working. So with that, I just want to stop my share for a minute. That's all I wanted to share on team effectiveness. I want to check in with you. Quick thumbs up Who here has team and team effectiveness on their docket for Q4? Does anyone have teams as a big theme right now? How about growing your own team? Double thumb up. Anyone growing their own team? Yeah, adding people on. So my guess is that there's a question that you want to explore around teams. What we're going to do, because that's our 9 minutes of content, we're going to move into our 21 minutes of interactive something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to connect with some other colleagues and share with them what's your biggest need around teams right now. For me, it is actually thinking about growing my team. For others, it might be, I've got a team event. I'd love to strategize around it. So I'm going to leave the question very broad today because I don't know all of your backgrounds, but this is an opportunity to have some articulation time with colleagues. And we know that when we get to speak things out, there's usually some new clarity. Likewise, when we get to connect in with others, there's that creative fusion that has potential to spark new ideas. So with that, we're going to step into 2 breakouts. Is everyone open to going to breakout? Yes. All right. So let us move to breakout, compliments of Zoom, and they are randomly going to assign. Tiff will stay here in Clubhouse with anyone else who is here, and you will have, let's call it like 8 minutes. 8 minutes in your breakout. There will be 3 breakout rooms. Yes, 3 breakout rooms of 2 people each. So you'll have a good opportunity to sort of get to know each other a little bit better. And when we come back, we'll have some dialogue around what were some of the themes that you noticed as you went into that conversation. Okay, good. Any clarity needed? All right, enjoy. Please accept your room invite, which is coming to you right now, and you will be whisked off thanks to technology. Enjoy your conversation around teams this morning. And Tiff, I think I'm still here with you. Hello. Do we have anyone today? I've got some interesting phone issues happening, so I can't see anything.
Oh, geez.
Oh, we've got Honey again. Honey is here again. Yay. So exciting. Hi, Honey. I hope that you saw my email a short while ago with updated blog posts. So anyways, we're recording still on this platform. And so what I'm hoping is like maybe people also get sparked by our dialogue in terms of, teams. So for you, Tiff, like where does teams live on your roadmap?
Let's see. Well, I really like to mention that because again, you just keep thinking of that. I mean, I keep thinking of solopreneur, you're alone. And it's like, no, just because you're by yourself, I have teams of support and it's awesome.
Yes.
And learning how to interact with it doesn't matter how you have your teams, like you do have teams. And learning to work with each other to help everybody. I mean, I just think that's what I've been looking at. And when I'm doing collaborations with people, such as yourself, it's like, we're a team.
We're a team like, on this project. Absolutely. Yeah. And,
how to support your team.
Yeah. So any of those elements that I talked about, right? Whether it's what's our vision, and you and I have talked a little bit like, what is the vision? You're always great at asking that question. What are our goals? How are we going to measure that? What are our roles? We've figured that one out. Same thing with you and I, Honey, right? It's like, who's going to do what, when, where, and how? And that's really at the heart of great teams, as well as this piece around shared commitment and consistency, right? Like in the virtual space, it's so easy just not to show up. And actually, Michelle Mullins, who is on the, who dropped in for the first time this morning, we just finished out one call with our community, and she's like, I want to come over because we do a first of every week. We do now my phone's ringing as well. On the first Thursday of every week, we do a community call. And so we've been really consistent about that for the last 24 months, almost, maybe a little less than 24 months. But it's just something like you show up. And it's so key to be consistent. I think, and again, this is like a little hypothesis that I'm holding. I think that by this time next week or the following, we're going to start seeing even more snowball, more people coming. And not everyone may be here every day, but some more new people coming into the mix, which is really, I think, exciting. Because it takes some time for people to build a buzz and know like, oh yeah, Jennifer's doing that thing at 7:30 in Zoom. So, that's why it's the 90-day guide. It's not just the 7-day guide, it's the 90-day guide. So what's coming to mind for you, Tiff?
Just looking at ways to, like, how to connect with other teams on Clubhouse. I'm joining more rooms this week, getting the word out about you. So it's just it's working on the strategy, which is kind of fun. Yeah. Because that's what's fun about teams. You can strategize, be creative, and it's that, almost that hive mind. Like, it's like, ooh, 2 brains better than 1.
2 brains are better than 1. And often we get more done because, we might go out a little bit more on the skinny branch, as I call it, and take a bit more risk, right? Like alone and independently, we might just sort of stay within our comfort zone. But when we get to meet with someone else, it might be like, ooh, you know what? Maybe I can try that, or maybe I have to try that because I've committed to doing it. So we learn as we grow and go, I think in a team environment, even if it's a team of 2. And so I think, I'm a real proponent. This has been my body of work for a long time. And I should have started off the call. What was so interesting is, last night I went to go see how the book sales were doing on Amazon, and totally surprised because as I went to see where all my books are, all 7 of them, my second book, which is From One to Many, Best Practices for Group and Team Coaching, is actually, last night at least, it was number 2 on business consulting, right after What Got You Here Won't Get You There by Marshall Goldsmith. So I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Yeah. So my 2013 book, this is what I love about being an author, is because your books become, if people embrace them, and they can be embraced at any time, right? It doesn't have to be right after you launch it. They can really have longevity, especially in today's digital space. So very cool. Little, not self-promotion, but just teams are everywhere. Obviously, if my book on team coaching is number 2 in the ecosystem as of last night. So just as important today as when I wrote it years ago.
Exactly. That's why I love that you're putting it out there, Jennifer. Thank you.
My pleasure. So Miss Honey, I don't think we can't hear Honey, but can we? Can you get messages from Honey?
I offered her to speak, but I know this is time where she's
on the move. Yes.
Right, but we're gonna be working. I'm gonna be meeting with her at 10 o'clock my time.
Ooh.
And so I can show her just a little bit of Clubhouse and biography and following people and help building the team. Not only Team Jennifer, Team Honey. It's awesome.
It is awesome. And team of teams, right? Like that's what I find in a lot of my work is it's not just building my team, but it's also helping other people build their team, because it is additive.
I love that. Team of teams.
Team of teams. And that's a theme that a lot of people will hear about. In fact, it's in today's world, we're really moving to a much more fluid team of teams, where teams are coming together and creating, if people take a look at Chapter 7, I shouldn't call it Chapter 7, I should call it Day 7. I go a little bit into some of the skills that are needed. So we're talking about Amy Edmondson's work, where we need 4 skills. Teams really need skills in speaking up, in collaboration, in experimentation, and reflection. And that's in part why I also wanted to do this type of work, right? It's like, you got to speak up, you got to show up and speak up and connect. You need to collaborate, experiment, and then reflect. And we're really doing that collaboration, reflection, and maybe a bit of speaking up in today's 21 minutes. So awesome. All right, we're going to do 2 more minutes. Say that again, Tiff.
No, it's so awesome. I'm like writing down all this stuff in my Google Keep. I love.
Yeah, well, there's always something new to be learning, right? And a lot of people say, why do you keep writing? And it's like, because this is like my legacy. This is my legacy, the legacy of Jen Britton. I expect to be around a lot longer, knock on wood. But I will be writing on other things by that point. So.
Oh, I just love it. Love that you've got that. You're seeing the energy beyond it. Honey.
I wonder what Honey's making for dinner. I'd love to know.
I know, right? she's off mic, so I mean, her mic is on. So, honey, hello.
Hey,
Hi.
so good to hear your voice, honey. What are you making us for dinner tonight?
Oh, we're done. It's fish.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. I'm so excited. And if you'd like to say anything, we've got everyone in breakout. So did you want to introduce yourself to the others on the call when they get back from breakout?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, people have heard about you, but they've never heard your voice. So excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm going to bring them back from breakout in just a minute. We will be off the line by the top of the hour. It is also the end of week 1. Can you believe it? Week 1, a week ago tomorrow, I introduced this whole new body of work. So what a week it's been.
Congratulations on your book.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a really good week. So appreciate all your support as well, for sure. So all these hours of social media, it's getting traction. So yeah, and Michelle Mullins is on in Zoom. I know you can't see that, but she's there with me. We just wrapped up to the Remote Pathways community call before this. So your support of us on that platform is also so key and appreciated. All right, they've got 28 seconds to come on out. I'm gonna be so intrigued.
Check the audio.
Yeah, honey, are you able to hear everything that's going on?
No, not really.
Okay, I'll be doing a bunch of speaking. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Marty.
Hello.
You were together. We've got about 7 more seconds. So we've got Cheryl and Oana, and then Michelle and Nina. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Every day, everyone seems to be in different connections. So welcome back. I hope that was interesting thinking about your teams. I wanted to layer on one last piece that I mentioned in the day 7 on team effectiveness. I make reference to the amazing writing and research of Amy Edmondson. And Amy's writing is very vast. She's so well known for her work in psychological safety, but also in the area of teaming. And she talks about 4 essential skills that are needed for teams to really, to participate in what she terms as teaming. And teaming is a verb. It's really this notion that teams can come together, form, and disband very rapidly. And so she talks that in order for that to happen, we need 4 skills. The first skill of speaking up, right? And even doing breakouts like this is a way to build our skill in speaking up, of presenting ourselves, of saying, this is what I need, this is who I am. Second skill that Amy references through her research is collaboration. And that's a big part of what I'm wanting to create with all of you, is this collaborative space where you can come, be in dialogue, and that will help you think bigger and different from what you would have done alone. Area or skill 3 that Amy has mentioned that's required for teaming is experimentation. And as you know, this whole process of the 90-day guide and what we're really building as we go, is experimentation. And then the 4th skill, reflection, which you've had almost every day that you've been here. So we're walking our talk. Again, think about how you could be cultivating those skills in what you're doing with teams or with your own team in terms of speaking up, collaboration, experimentation, and reflection. So just want to see if there were any quick ideas that people wanted to share before I go into a very speedy week 1 overview. Because if you can believe it, today is day 7. That wraps up this first week of this process. And it's going to be 13 weeks in total. So back to teaming and your breakouts. Would anyone like to share a soundbite or 2 around what you talked about? Cheryl?
One question that came up with Ona and myself was, in the hybrid world, you have people in the room, you have people on camera. How do you balance that so the people in the room don't dominate the conversation, well, and prevent marginalizing the people who are on the screen?
Yeah, such a great question. And we really want to make sure that we're very conscious of what I would call power differentials, right? Like who's in the room, who's not in the room, whose voice is being heard, whose voice isn't being heard. And in hybrid, it might be due to geography. In other room settings, it could be due to gender, it could be to race, it could be to role. So we're always, as facilitators, thinking about that. So we're even experiencing it here where we're on Zoom and we've got Tiff and Honey in breakout, well, not a breakout, on Clubhouse with me. That's another power differential. So how are we inviting them into the conversation? And you'll notice that, like in breakout, Tiff, Honey, and I every day this week have been able to talk in this room. So we're thinking about involvement, space of voice, who's going first, and things like that to really be aware. So it is not, that is not the only layers. I think another piece is thinking strategically about process. I recently did a hybrid program delivery. It was a half-day program delivery. And it was really almost like a 15 to 1. Okay, so there was one person who was not there with them. And it was a really important topic where everyone had equal voice. So what we did, and this was in part in the setup with the organizer, I said, what would it be like if I actually got everyone to bring their laptop to your meeting room? And we worked it that way. And that's how we worked it for 3.5 hours. They were in the same room, but everyone had equal space on Zoom. And what was interesting is as the afternoon progressed, you could see people like moving to this screen, even though they were physically beside one another. And so they were talking directly to each other on the screen, which meant that for that one team member who was not able to be with them, it was such a powerful and positive experience. Like they even said, I really was hesitant to trying this, and I was concerned that I was not going to be in the room, but I think this was even better. And even, and that was echoed by some of their colleagues in terms of like, wow, we really saw things and heard things in this conversation that we wouldn't have heard if we'd just been sitting in the room, because of deeper attention, different focus. So it meant redesign as well. You really have to redesign intentionally. And so we'll probably get to a couple of days down the road where we talk a little bit more about design, not too much in this program, but many of you know this is my typical world, right? Group coaching essentials, team coaching essentials. We talk a lot about design, and there's a science behind it too. So great question. Thank you very much. Any other quick sound bites before I go to a quick review of where we've been this week? All right, so tomorrow, reminder, finish it off Fridays. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Finish it off Fridays. Bring a task so that you can, check something off or move it ahead so that you don't have it on your shoulders. We'll have 21 minutes of virtual co-working tomorrow, but just a quick roundup and review of what we've looked at this week. So last Friday was the release of the 90-day guide and the start of this process. We started with, of course, getting started and thinking about, what's it going to take, either in a 90-day new cycle or in a new role. We then, in our Monday session, dove into you. What's important about you, getting clear on things. Day 3 in the guide is one that we jumped over. So in the guide, it's remote work, similarities, differences, and advantages. We actually went next to vision. We talked a little bit on Tuesday about the importance of vision. Another day that we jumped over in this format, because again, we're not meeting on the weekends, is day 5, which was setting up your office. And instead we came back yesterday to talk about building trust and relationships. And then today, team effectiveness. So before you move out of this week, like later tonight, you may want to pick up your guide. There is a week end review. I'll leave it up to you if you want to do that on a Thursday or a Friday, but there's space for you to do some review questions. You'll find them on page 73 and 74, including space for you to note key learning from the themes, also noting what you have done, what routines and practices are helping you, and it reminds you to also update your tracking sheet. So you'll find those questions on page 73 and 74 for people who are sort of purists before they step into week 2. They might want to do that tonight. For people like me that aren't, it may be more focused on really thinking about, doing that over the weekend. So that is my 8 o'clock bell. It is time to let you roll. Thank you, as always, for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Take care.